confidence didn't come first. Commitment did. My boys get to see a working mom, a woman who honors her gifts, and resilience modeled in real time. I stopped trying to do everything perfectly and started doing what mattered most. The clients that hold their own boundaries sacred will also hold yours sacred. Doing work that aligns with my life, not competes with it, has brought me so much peace.
Hey there, my little biz besties. Welcome back to In Good Company, where real entrepreneurs share real growth stories. Thanks for liking and subscribing to my channel. Let's get into it.
Hey friends, welcome back to In Good Company. Today's episode is a solo one, which I did not volunteer for. But apparently, according to my podcast manager, you all like these episodes. So here we are. We are showing up and we are here to serve. By we, I mean myself and my 3 dogs behind me. So we're all here. Just know that this episode is not polished. It's honest. It's for the woman building something without a trust fund, a roadmap, or a backup plan. So, hey, that would be me. If you're a mom, a business owner, or someone who feels like they're constantly holding it all together, this one's for you. I see you. So let's just dive right in. I didn't wake up one day with a cute brand and a 5-year plan. I didn't have it easy. I didn't have a silver spoon. I didn't have an investor. I had mentors, but very little handholding. I feel like I built my businesses out of necessity and grit. And maybe it isn't the reasons that you have, or maybe you're watching this and you're like, I can't relate at all, and that's fine. I'm not really sure why you would continue watching someone you didn't relate to, but I'm glad you're here. My accounting firm that I started, Chamberlain Good Company, it didn't start because I was like, I'm so bored. The accounting firm started because I saw a gap. I saw business owners drowning in numbers they didn't understand. and out of necessity for my livelihood. The podcast didn't start because I thought everybody wants to be on this podcast if I'm on it. The podcast started because you wanted to hear real conversations and I wanted to give them to you. I bought a salon this year, and the salon purchase this year was an asset purchase. And I'm happy to go into what that means because I was learning as I was going. It was strategic, but also emotional. Everything I built came from solving problems that I was personally living through. So, it feels very vulnerable to say that, but there it is. I get this question. I'm going to go through a lot of different questions that people submitted, and that I'm going to try to create a flow with myself. So it's going to be awkward. It's going to feel icky for me, and we'll see what becomes of this. So I I want to talk about what people think versus the reality of my life. And maybe this is you too. Maybe you can relate. But what's the biggest misconception about my life or my success, which still feels cringy to say that. Obviously, I'm working on myself. The biggest misconception. So people see multiple businesses and think overnight success. I have had people in my life say, oh my gosh, that happened so quickly. Or I feel like you just started your master's. And I realize how things can feel like that from the other person because it's not their life and they are not with the day to day. They don't see the late nights, the financial anxiety, the learning it as you go, the doing things scared. Um, they don't see you not always feeling confident because I did not always feel I don't feel confident in this moment, but I am still showing up. They just see, oh my gosh, that happened so quickly. And it's really just you moving anyways, you moving forward anyways. Confidence didn't come first. Commitment did. So we can't let other people validate the journey that you're on. And that was um, a big lesson for me because I am a people pleaser. I am a recovering people pleaser. And I wanted validation from friends and family that I was doing a good job, that I was someone that they look up to or someone they respect. And what I realized was you more times than not get let down. So you have to commit to yourself first and let the pieces fall. So I wish I had more words of wisdom on that. Honestly, you could listen to the previous episodes and get a lot more inspiration for people's journey. Because at the end of the day, I hesitate to say this because I know clients listen to this, but I feel like I'm just winging it. I feel like people think, and this might be a reflection of what I think about myself, that I woke up from life, birth. And, at 1 day years old, I was like, I know how to run a business. And that is not how it happened at all. So, um, moving right along, because I could just dive down a rabbit hole with that, is hi, I'm a mom. I'm also a mom, and I have two kiddos, two boys. And they are the light of my life. They are everything. And I am learning and giving myself grace that being a good mom can change seasonally and mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I think that society tells us, they feed us this work-life balance. I mean, it's a marketing technique, like that you want to sell the idea of work-life balance. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, that it's just not a thing. Like that is not a real thing. We got to let it go. Um, there is no such thing as work-life balance. Like, come at me. It's just not a thing. So personally, um, when I get asked, how do you build businesses while being a present mom? And let's just be real. Like, this is me, vulnerable me. I'm wearing a Christmas sweater um because I'm trying to feel some Christmas spirit. But let's just be real for a second. When you are a working mom, not just a business owner mom, when you are a working mom, you do feel guilt sometimes. You feel guilt most of the time. I feel guilt 99% of the time because you only have one 100%. And I've said this before, you can only give 100% to one thing at a time. You can give 100% to your job. You can give 100% to being a mom. You can't do it at the same time. You're one person. So let go of I can do it all. I've had to unlearn the idea that moms must choose between ambition and family. And that is a very, very hard thing to learn. You don't have to choose. because what I've found is my boys get to see a working mom, a woman who honors her gifts, and resilience modeled in real time. That might not seem pretty because they also see my failures. They see the tears, they see the stress, they see, the hard meetings that I have to have sometimes with clients or with team members, or the conversations with my husband where I have to be a different version of their mom. And I think that actually is the most beautiful thing that I could do for them. My hopes are that they will grow up with incredibly high standards in a wife. Now, I want them to have realistic standards because I want them to get married and have kids and, do the things. But I want them to not settle and know I can have a wife that is ambitious and independent, and she still knows how to lean into a feminine side and nurturing side and be, you know, the wife to their dad, or, she's there when, I get hurt and she's hugging me and loving on me and praying for me. But also I've seen her run meetings and you know what I mean? So this is kind of what I'm talking about. It's not shying away from showing the hard stuff. I stopped trying to do everything perfectly and started doing what mattered most. So that looks different for everyone. It's a lot of boundary talk. So that's where the 100% comes in. So if I decide I work best, I am the most efficient and um, sane in the mornings. I'm a morning girly, and I know from hours 7:30 to 11:30, sometimes 12, sometimes. I want meetings scheduled during that time. That also means that mom's off limits during that time. Like, it better be an emergency. Emergencies are not what's the Wi-Fi password. Not an emergency. Emergencies aren't, can I go outside? You already know. You already know. They are not, I can't find my charger. I don't know about you, but the amount of chargers I have bought for the people in this house, it just is enraging. But after that time is when I am more quiet, I'm a little more observant. So it's just setting a boundary. And same with clients. When I started my business, I was a yes man. I took every client that said they wanted to hire me. Um, I did meetings, sales calls, what have you, at all hours, anytime. Oh, you want to chat at 7 p.m.? Oh, of course. And got so close to burnout that I'm almost ashamed to even say that. So I had to learn when I actually wanted to have those conversations, when I am choosing to be available and hold that boundary so hard. You know what helps with boundaries is an assistant. My assistant holds my boundaries better than I do. And that is such a blessing because there's still this imposter syndrome that comes in. Like, this is a big client. Like, I should be available whenever they need me. If I'm not, they're going to fire us. And then we're blah, 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 blah. But what I find is that people that have boundaries themselves respect others with boundaries. And those are the clients you want to work with. The clients that hold their own boundaries sacred will also hold yours sacred. So I challenge you to find your boundaries, and it's different for everyone. It's different for people even on my own team. For my CFO, Whitney is a totally different accountant than me in the best of ways. And her boundaries are very different. And that's okay. Because if she tells me, I don't like to have meetings during this time and this time because that's when I go get my kids. girl, heard. Like, we're not going to have a meeting when it's not good for you, even though that's when it's good for me, because we need to come to an understanding of when it's good for both of us. So, um, find where your boundaries are and surround yourself with people that will respect those boundaries. Another question I get asked is, um, what what's the biggest mistake you see business owners currently making? I talk to a lot of business owners in all different stages, on the podcast, on sales calls, financials. I see a lot of different mistakes, but I see a lot of commonalities too. On the big ones, the small ones, in between, the solopreneurs, the C corps, the S corps, the LLCs, a lot of similarities. So I'd love to go into that. The similarities, no matter how big or small the business is. Not knowing their numbers. That is such a disservice you are doing to yourself, your clients, your team, not knowing your numbers. Now, I understand sometimes um, maybe you're waiting for things to get cleaned up, or maybe it's year end and like numbers change and whatever. Not knowing a roundabout idea of what your numbers truly are is such a mistake you can make as a business owner. You cannot make good decisions if you don't know what your cash flow looks like. You don't know how much you're going to owe in taxes. And I'm guilty of it. This is not I'm better than anybody, like at all. Um, in the very beginning, years ago, when I started the accounting firm, I hated doing my own bookkeeping. It's like the cleaner who doesn't want to come home and clean their own house. That's exactly how I felt. So it would get behind and behind, and it was awful. I filed extensions for my own taxes. Like I did not want to do it. And so when we started building our team up, Whitney and I delegated our books to a team member. And you know what? Our books are never behind now. And I always know where our numbers are because she sends me a P&L statement every week. And I cannot describe to you the power that feels. How empowered I feel by knowing exactly where our numbers are. And I know that it's caught up because she does it. So I know avoiding bookkeeping can feel safe because you're like, well, I don't need to know. It's not a big deal. I'll look at the end of the year. But avoiding bookkeeping is hurting you. It can feel overwhelming, especially if you put it off. But we really need to be treating money like it's a tool, not something to fear. So you don't need to know everything. You do need to know what's coming in, what's going out, and why. So your business can't grow past the numbers you're willing to look at. Hard truth, but that not knowing the numbers is the biggest mistake I see business owners making. And there's like a long list that comes after that. But not knowing the numbers is just number one. Commonality. It is everything. So I urge you to find a way to know your numbers. Do your books. Hire someone. Get those cleaned up. Make good decisions. All right, I'm moving on to the next question. This was a little hard one to receive. I got this question, and I feel like I know who sent this question in. So if you're listening to this, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. What's one failure that shaped you? I feel like a family member sent this in because sometimes family loves to hear about you failing. Isn't that weird? So weird. Uh, this is a hard question because I'll be honest, I have had so many failures. Like, nobody hears about those. No, it's not like sexy or fun to talk about failures. Social media, I'm gonna post, like, the best of the best. I'm gonna post when my hair looked good. I don't even know what's happening right now. My poor little lightened ends are just screaming. But I'm gonna post when I look my best, feel my best. I'm gonna post success. I'm gonna post everything that, like, seems cool. But the reality is I'm failing all the time, like, all the time. People learn I'm gonna say me. I learn the hardest lessons the fastest when I fail. Like, "Oh, I failed? Well, I'm changing that." A lot of different failures throughout the years of owning businesses has shaped me into the person I am today. So, I have 0 regrets, like 0. Regrets do not serve me. Um, a couple that come to mind, because I feel like that was the most non-answer answer ever, is being a yes man pushed me towards burnout faster than any other thing I did. Any other thing. Saying I'll attend every networking event, signing up for all of the masterminds. Everything's a mastermind. Signing up for courses because I felt like I just wasn't as good of an accountant that I needed to be to have an accounting firm. Signing up for the courses, serving on boards, nonprofit boards, taking every single sales call that came in with like no filtering, no questionnaire. Like, yeah, I can help you. I can help you. I can help you. Um, Not having a capacity, just saying yes. It's crazy. It's the Wild West sometimes. Um, Doing extracurricular activities for my kids and saying yes. Like telling them, yeah, you can do all these sports and I'm going to coach on it. That should be my like biggest failure of life is saying I can coach children, my child's team, because I coached cheer a couple of years and it was so fun, but my kids were not on that team. Um, Pushed me to burnout. My calendar was so full and colorful because I highlight that it used to feel like a flex. Like, oh, I'm so busy. That's so sexy. No, it's not. Like, no, it's not. You're tired. Um, I had to learn when to pivot versus push. So if I had free time or time that I could reflect, I looked at that as a failure of I'm not doing enough. Like I need to do more. When in reality, I should have been allowing myself space to build, to grow, to learn, like in a non-committal way. So so many failures. My head's spinning now. Why did I even take this question? That season taught me that survival mode isn't the same thing as success. It's not cute to feel tired, overwhelmed, bitter all the time in the business that you built. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why do we hate the business that we built? We should be building businesses we love. We should be building businesses that serve us, that serve the owner first. And that's not selfish because if you're not doing that, go work for someone else. If you're not building the business that you love, if you're not building a business for you, go work for someone. I could go anywhere and be an accountant, but I wanted a business that served me in my life right now. So, um, so many failures. What's another one? I we can the podcast failure. Let me rephrase that. When I first started the podcast over a year ago, um, I hired a manager. She's still with me today. And this was my failure, not hers, because she's very good at what she does. I told her, I'm going to do a bunch of solo episodes, 10 to 15 minutes apiece. And I'm going to talk about taxes and bookkeeping and accounting and all the things that small business owners want to know. And she was like, cool, I got you. This is your show. I'm here to help you get there. And what I realized, I hated that. I hated it. I was trying to build the show that I thought people wanted, not the show that I wanted. And I realized very quickly I hate doing these solo episodes because I feel awkward. My energy flows when I have other people to bounce conversation off of. Like this episode right now is probably my worst nightmare. However, a year into it, talking to people, I feel like I've gotten a lot better. But starting off the show with 15-minute tax episodes was draining me. I was dreading recording. And poor Shannon, she would reach out and be like, "Hey, did you record your episode yet? Hey, where's your episode? Your episode, your episode, your episode." And I was draining myself because I hated it. I did not want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I'm sorry, Shannon, I was wrong. So I had to take a step back because I was too close. I had a guest named Lindsay on the show earlier this year, and she said, "You can't read the label from the inside." And that just so good. I could not read the label. Like, why did I hate the show? It was my idea. And so I took a break, took a little bit of break. I was like, "Shannon, I just don't think I'm meant to like have a podcast." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And I took a break and I really reflected over why I felt that way. Well, I don't want to sit and talk about taxes all day. I already do that. I want to meet people. So I came back to Shannon and I was like, "This is what I want to do." And she was like, "Rock on, I got you." So the failure was not knowing myself and not following my gut and building the show that I want. So I love podcasting. I love talking to people. It lights me up. I get excited. I listen to the episodes every Thursday. I look forward to, I already know what they're going to say. But every time I watch an episode on Thursday or listen to it on YouTube, on Apple, I get excited to hear the conversation all over again. And that's how I know this is a heart-led podcast, not what I think, oh, everybody wants me to do. No, 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 none of that. I am doing the thing I want to do. And that is why I feel the way I feel. Very aligned. Um, so you might be asking, or maybe you're not, but you know what? I feel like you guys are nosy like me. Like you want to know what people are doing. Um, what are they going to do next? I love day in the life videos. And I'm not talking like celebrities. I want to watch the most average citizen go through their day. I'm talking like a mom of maybe multiple children, and maybe she lives on a farm, and maybe she like goes to a coffee. I don't know. Something normal day in the life because I'm nosy. I want to know what people are doing. So if you are also nosy and you want to know what's next, let's talk about that. I have realized that sustainability over hustle is my vibe. There have been so many moments while owning an accounting firm that I could have picked a path that would have skyrocketed us into growth. I could have picked a different marketing strategy that maybe would have led to a faster growth. But what I actually did was sustainably growing my firm so my team and myself can ease into every chapter with love and grace and excitement. And I think that that intentional growth has allowed me to welcome in team members so beautifully. Every time we bring a new team member in, which are all friends and family, I think I've mentioned that, it feels so aligned and it feels like my company's giving me a hug. Like, they're like, you did the right thing. Now, I can't take all of the credit because I have a rock star team. They're actually probably better than yours because I love them so much. Um, and they are all so invested. So being intentional and selective has allowed me to hire rock stars. I say it all the time. My team are rock stars. It's in our proposal. We send a proposal to potential clients, and right there, like first paragraph, it's like, we are rock stars. And I firmly believe that. I believe my team is full of superheroes. So, um, doing work that aligns with my life, not competes with it, has brought me so much peace. I love what I do. I love where it's going. I think for me, the next steps is continuous sustainable growth. Um, we have some things in store next year, and I feel very blessed. I don't want a bigger business if it costs me my peace. It's not worth it. There's no amount of money that would feel worth my peace. So, if you are still here and listening to this and you were thinking, okay, well, like I probably do need help with my numbers. Well, that's literally what we do at Chamberlain and Good Company. I am inviting you to go to our website. There are some freebies on there. We have a cash flow calculator. It's really cool, designed by yours truly. Um, if you're not a freebies person, weird. But if you're more of a, I'm ready to like chat about my business, I want to chat about my numbers, go ahead and book a discovery call. That's what, book a discovery call, a consult. They're 15 minutes long. They used to be an hour. However, I learned by being a yes man and giving people all the time in the world to talk about their business and their numbers and their life, it took a very long time to actually get to what they need from me. And while I love talking to people, it was wasting both of our times. So our consult calls are free, and they're 15 minutes long because that forces people to get in the meat potatoes of what it is. What do you need? How can I help you? We can talk about your cats later. I love talking about animals. Not here though. No, at a different time. So it's 15-minute call. It's free. Go to our website. There are tons of places to put your information in. If you're not quite there, or maybe you don't have a business and you're like, I don't need that. Follow us along on social media. Another thing, not one thing, because I've been talking about lots of things. Another thing I have learned as a small business owner is a way to show another small business owner love is following along their social media, liking their stuff, sharing their posts. To me, feels immediately like a hug. Thank you. So maybe I have a friend that has a business, and I'm like, I don't really need that. I'll still share their stuff because that's how you show small business owners love. Help the algorithm love them. Or follow along because you want to see more of this crazy life that I'm living and you want to feel like you're a part of it, because guess what? You can be. If you want to be a guest on this podcast, I would love to meet you. Reach out on our website. But really and truly, as my mother-in-law would say, really and truly, thank you for sitting with me today and listening to me ramble a little bit. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who's building something quietly and bravely. You're not behind, you're becoming.
If I could do it all over again, there'd be no wish I would, should have been. Spend more time with my family and friends. If I could do it all over again, I'd wake up early and start my